We are born into a culture defined by the curse of the chase. From the moment we open our eyes, we are taught to pursue, to strive, to overcome some deficiency that has been artificially engineered into our consciousness. We chase money, we chase status, we chase fleeting moments of gratification, and above all, we chase the ever-elusive promise of peace. Hold on, before we unlock the real power of semen retention, hit that subscribe button and join our Telegram channel, link in description. We drop daily wisdom, success tools, and energy secrets only shared there. Don't watch from the sidelines, become part of the movement. This chase scene is frantic, external, and perpetually exhausting. It is the restless energy of the modern masculine spirit, always reaching, always straining, convinced that the key to tranquility lies just beyond the next promotion, the next purchase, or the next fleeting, momentary release. The pursuit of peace, ironically, becomes the greatest source of anxiety. We consume self-help books, subscribe to meditation apps, and seek therapists, treating calmness as an external reward that must be earned through aggressive self-improvement, rather than an internal state that merely needs to be uncovered. I existed in this state for years, a high-achieving, yet chronically tense man. My life was a series of sprints from one temporary high to the next temporary relief. I believed that turbulence in my soul was the natural cost of ambition, that anxiety was merely the soundtrack to success. But the deeper truth I was fleeing was this: my entire energetic system was designed for outward expenditure. I was perpetually leaking my vital force, leaving my core depleted and my spirit exposed to the whims of the external world. The void left by this leakage was what I desperately tried to fill with external validation and superficial comforts. The fleeting pleasures, the rapid expenditure of biological energy, provided a momentary rush, a false sense of completion, followed immediately by the familiar crassous, subtle depression, the fog of the mind, and the immediate, renewed, gnawing need to chase something else. It was a self-perpetuating cycle of energetic poverty, a state where the soul is too exhausted to anchor itself. A soul constantly starved of its own fuel cannot be still. It must frantically seek external stimulus, believing the solution is out there, when in reality, the power plant is empty. This is why the modern man is chronically uncentered. He has been taught that his essence is disposable, that his most potent creative force is merely a source of fleeting entertainment. He spends his future strength on a momentary distraction and then wonders why his present feels so hollow. The realization that changed everything was the terrifyingly simple proposition of semen retention. The deepest peace is found not through action, but through non-action. It is not about doing more. It is about wasting less. When I first embraced the discipline, it was not with the aim of becoming peaceful. It was born out of sheer desperation to stop the internal bleeding, to reclaim sovereignty over my own desire. I viewed it as self-preservation, not spiritual practice. The initial days were brutal. The inner chaos fought back, the mind screaming at the body to resume the old, easy paths of release. This battle was the final exorcism of the chastened spirit, the addiction to external fulfillment. But as I held the line, refusing to be pulled by the frantic energy of impulse, a profound quiet began to settle. The energy that was previously spent racing out of my system began to turn inward, forming a dense, stable core. This discipline is not repression, it is radical redirection. It is taking the raw, biological fuel of the masculine spirit, the life force, and consciously transmuting it, channeling it upward into the mind, the will, and the spiritual center. The internal inversion. The practice of retention initiates an internal inversion. The world outside is loud, chaotic, and demanding. But the retained man chooses to make his internal world his primary field of action. He shifts from being externally driven to internally rooted. As the vital essence accumulates, it begins to generate a density that is physically palpable. This is the fabled OISS, the spiritual nectar that is the refined product of conserved life force. It is not an abstract concept. It is the physical sensation of fullness in the chest and an unshakable clarity behind the eyes. The frantic chase for peace ends not because the man stops looking for it, but because the internal energy required to chase is now being used to build the foundation of peace within. The retained man possesses an internal anchor. His emotional state is no longer tethered to the external environment. A compliment, an insult, a successful deal, a setback cannot yank him violently off center. He operates from a constant reservoir of energy, not a fragile, temporary pipeline. The mind, which was once a noisy battlefield of needs and desires, becomes quiet because the source of the frantic energy, the depletion cycle, has been sealed. The thoughts that once demanded immediate resolution now gently dissipate against the density of the ojas-fueled calm. This is the cessation of the seeking mind. When the energetic well is full, The mind realizes, on a deep, primal level, that it is safe. There is no need for panic. There is no need to urgently acquire resources, because the most important resource, the life force, is secured and abundant. This state of inner abundance is the first signal sent out to the universe. It is a subtle but profound frequency shift. The man who is internally full sends out a signal of completion, which inherently repels chaos and attracts order. The internal inversion means his self-worth is no longer negotiable. It is built on the daily discipline of self-sovereignty, not on the shifting sands of external opinion. He is accountable to his own highest potential, and that allegiance is unbreakable. When anxiety arises, it is met not with panic, but with the steady, quiet hum of his conserved energy. The anxiety must submit to the greater, more stable frequency of his internal state. Much like a small wave dissolving against a massive sea wall, the retained man stops needing to perform. He doesn't need to project confidence. He has confidence built not on bravado, but on the silent, daily victories over his own basest impulses. This non-performance is the beginning of true, magnetic presence. His focus becomes singular, channeled, and effortlessly powerful. The energy that once flowed out as a wasteful flood now flows as a directed current, illuminating his work and relationships with crystalline clarity. He solves problems not by attacking them with frantic effort, but by approaching them with a still, integrated mind. This process of accumulation creates an undeniable center of gravity. He is no longer orbiting the world. The world begins to orient itself around his stability. This is the profound shift from being a reactor to being a creator. The hunting season. The true magic begins when the man realizes that he no longer seeks peace because peace has begun to seek him. It is not an active pursuit, but a passive reception. The universe responds to energetic integrity with reciprocal order. When you stop running from yourself, the things you are running toward, calm, clarity, opportunity, catch up. They see the stable signal you are broadcasting and are drawn to the source of light in the darkness. Chaos, drama, and toxic relationships, which once defined the landscape of the depleted man, begin to recede. They are repelled by the high vibrational density of the retained man. Like attracts like, and the state of internal calm attracts external calm. The external circumstances of his life begin to align effortlessly. Opportunities that require intense focus and emotional stability, the very qualities retention cultivates, seem to find their way to his door. He is the right man in the right state, and the universe responds to preparedness. This is the phenomenon of peace hunting the man. A retained man doesn't need to chase tranquility because his entire nervous system is now an ecosystem of deep calm. The very act of living becomes a peaceful expression of his accumulated vitality. Non-reactivity is the highest form of peace. When someone throws a sharp word or an irritating circumstance at the retained man, he doesn't immediately consume the negative energy and react. He allows the external event to meet his internal anchor and then chooses his response from a place of sovereign detachment. This sovereign detachment creates a buffer between stimulus and reaction, and this buffer is the dwelling place of peace. The man is not immune to life's storms, but he is anchored deeply enough that the storms only affect the surface, never the core. He finds that deep, restful sleep, a rare commodity for the anxious, modern man, becomes his birthright. His body, now swimming in the nourishing essence of oyas, can finally relax into true restorative peace, knowing the master is not leaking his life force. His relationships mature into quiet, powerful bonds. People around him feel the stability and are unconsciously drawn to the calm he embodies. They feel safer, more centered in his presence, because he is a man who is grounded in his own energetic truth. The peace that hunts him is not a passive, lazy state. It is a powerful silence. It is the calm before the decisive action. It is the deep well of energy that allows him to act with immense force and clarity when necessary, without exhausting his core. His intuition sharpens. The inner voice, which was once drowned out by the static of anxiety and constant seeking, now speaks clearly, guiding him toward paths of least resistance, which are, by definition, the paths of peace and efficiency. He realizes that the ultimate chase was not for external rewards, but for self-reclamation. By choosing to retain his most precious resource, he was not chasing peace. He was simply eliminating the internal conditions that made peace impossible. The universe trusts the retained man. It sees a man who has mastered himself, a man who has energetic integrity. To such a man, the universe grants its most valuable commodity, the gift of effortless flow and quiet strength. The final sovereignty, the ultimate reward of this discipline, is sovereignty. The retained man is the undisputed ruler of his own internal climate. He decides what energy is emitted, what is transformed, and what is brought. This sovereignty is the source of the magnetic peace that permeates his life. He no longer needs to apologize for his existence. nor does he need to seek permission to thrive. His very being is an unshakable statement of self-worth. The illusion of chasing peace, the idea that you must travel or buy or meditate aggressively to find it, is replaced by the truth that peace is merely the shadow of a complete man. When the man is whole, his shadow is cast as peace. The retained man operates from a position of fullness, and fullness doesn't chase. Fullness attracts. It is the full river that attracts the surrounding ecosystem. It is the full battery that powers the entire system. This final, unwavering peace is the realization that everything he truly needs to fulfill his purpose is already contained within his own disciplined being. He is the source, not the seeker. This is the great, terrifying secret they censored from the modern man. Your life force is your capital. When you retain and transmute it, you build an infinite internal source of energy, clarity, and, consequently, peace. The man who retains knows that his energy is his currency. He guards it fiercely, invests it wisely, and uses it only for the creation of his highest self and his highest aims. He does not squander his future. The chase is the signature of weakness, the desperate grasp for completion. The stillness is the signature of strength, the quiet confidence of a man who knows he is complete, right here, right now. All right, you've got this incredible energy now. Don't let it dissipate. Before you click off, prove you were here. Smash that like button, and if you're serious about this journey, hit subscribe right now. This isn't just a channel, it's a movement. This internal wholeness manifests as an unshakable calmness that makes others, both men and women, pause. It's a silent, powerful signal that says, I am home. The war is over. And when the man declares the internal war to be over, the external world has no choice but to lay down its arms and offer him the only thing it can: peace. He doesn't have to seek it out in crowded retreats or expensive vacations. Peace finds him in the quiet moments of his work, in the steady gaze of his eyes, and in the deliberate, measured cadence of his life. The retained man does not chase peace. He is the vessel of peace, and wherever he goes, that peace follows, a loyal, undeniable shadow that hunts him down and settles in his wake. This journey is the ultimate act of self-reclamation, turning the frantic, depleted, skiing individual into the calm, sovereign, and magnetic center of his own destiny. It is a profound, simple truth. Stop spending, start accumulating, and the universe will stop demanding and start serving.